Hello and good afternoon. It is 12:30 this Friday, October 24th. My name is Robin Key and welcome to KXII 12 News Now. We are here to give you your midday news update, so let's jump into your Texoma headlines. Yesterday, the Choctaw Nation held its annual Flowers on the Pond, an event held every October to honor victims and survivors of domestic violence. With Oklahoma being #1 in the nation for domestic violence, the tribe is trying to raise additional awareness this year about access to resources through the community. The Family Violence Prevention Program serves anyone that lives within the Choctaw Reservation boundaries. Thanks to the support of the program, one woman was able to share her story Thursday.
I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just sharing my story. I feel that, yes, I am considered a victim of domestic violence. However, I have survived, and I'm one of the lucky ones that I can say that has come out on the other side of an intimate partner violence that could have been the end of my life and my son's life.
To conclude Thursday's event, lotus flowers were released into the pond to honor victims and survivors. Another moment of remembrance, the Bryan County Sheriff's Office is remembering an officer killed in a crash 31 years ago. 36-year-old Lori Thomas, who was an agent with an alcoholic beverage law enforcement commission, was on her way home when she was hit by Michael Holland, a man who was then leading Durant police officers on a high-speed chase. Thomas was killed in the crash. Holland was later charged with vehicular manslaughter. New this midday, a Tom Bean woman was arrested on money laundering charges in connection to an investigation on South Lake. Lindsay Johnson is charged with money laundering in excess of $300,000. Authorities say the alleged violations date back to 2019. Johnson was booked into the Grayson County Jail Wednesday and released after posting a $20,000 bond. Families have filed a lawsuit against the Salina School District following a former coach's arrest for alleged sexual misconduct. According to CBS Dallas, the lawsuit claims the district was aware of 26-year-old Caleb Elliott's alleged misconduct before his initial arrest for invasive visual recording earlier this month. The suit accuses the district of trying to cover up the episode. Elliott is the son of Salina athletic director and state champion head football coach Bill Elliott. The plaintiffs are seeking over $1 million in damages. The Ardmore Chamber of Commerce held a State of Education luncheon Thursday morning to discuss educational issues. Issues like low reading proficiency and childhood literacy and teacher shortages. Local educators came together to voice their questions and concerns about these problems and hear how state leaders think they should be addressed. Schools like Murray State are planning to take action.
To partner with the Oklahoma Workforce Commission to do a fast-track teacher education program.
This would help teachers get trained and into the classroom faster, while the president of the college says issues like the teacher shortage may never be solved. This can at least prepare teachers for success. Today is supposed to be payday for many federal workers, but there will be no checks as the government shutdown reaches day 24. Congress has recessed for the weekend, and President Donald Trump is leaving for Asia, which means negotiations are likely over for the weekend. Now, we are 1 week away from benefits running out for tens of millions of Americans who rely on SNAP and WIC benefits to help feed their families. In Oklahoma, many families are starting to turn to food pantries.
Families are stocking up. They're trying to decide, am I going to pay my rent next month, or am I going to buy food? It's a dilemma. It's anxiousness, depression, all kinds of stress right now.
More than 40 million low-income people nationwide benefit from the SNAP program. At the center of the stalemate, healthcare. Democrats say they won't budge until Republicans address their healthcare concerns, which include extending Affordable Care Act subsidies and reversing cuts to Medicaid. Texas Senator John Cornyn weighed in on the shutdown, deflecting blame on Democrats.
This whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous, and it's strictly to try to give a few Democrats some leverage, they think, and to give them some protection from their radical base. So it's ridiculous, and a lot of innocent people are being hurt. People are getting food stamps back in my state are no longer getting those, and this is supposed to be a safety net for them. Folks who are confined to their home because of medical conditions can't get access to telehealth. This is hurting a lot of innocent people, and it needs to end.
Here is the contact information of our local lawmakers. If you want to reach out to them about the shutdown and how it is impacting your families, then you can do so here. Here are your Texas lawmakers. Their phone numbers are on your screen. And then here are your Oklahoma lawmakers. Now, this is their contact information, so we will also have a link with their email addresses on our KXII Facebook page. In more shutdown news, soldiers who were preparing to leave the Army just had their enlistment contract extended a little bit longer. The Army says soldiers had their service extended for 45 days as a result of the government shutdown. It is not clear how many soldiers are expected to be impacted by the decision. An Army spokesman said that the move was necessary due to the Anti-Deficiency Act. That is a law which prohibits the government from incurring unappropriated costs during funding lapses. In a statement, the spokesperson said failure to extend personnel might result in losing access to housing, benefits, and pay. New research is suggesting that mRNA coronavirus vaccines effectively prolong the life of certain cancer patients. The study published Wednesday in the journal Nature examined health records of patients getting immunotherapy for lung and skin cancer. According to the study, the mRNA COVID-19 vaccines nearly doubled the median survival length of patients who received them. The researchers believe the vaccine awakens the body's immune system to the presence of the cancer. Exactly how isn't clear. Now, experts want more research for the study. This could be something really amazing if it ends up going like they think it will. Broadway musicians have reached a tentative deal that averts a strike. Yesterday, the labor union that represents the musicians announced a deal had been reached with the Trade Association for Theater Owners and Producers. The union president says the agreement will offer more money and increases to health benefits. The contract still needs to be approved by union members, but those involved with the matter say things look like they will work out. The last time a strike happened on Broadway was 2007, when the Stagehands Union went off the job for nearly 3 weeks. In more pop culture news, Stranger Things fans are going to have the chance to ring in the new year in a special way. Netflix confirmed Thursday the series finale will get a theatrical release. The main series finale hits theaters December 21st. As it also hits Netflix, it will only run for 2 days. The new season of The Kardashians dropped Thursday on Hulu. In a preview, Kim Kardashian revealed she suffered from what she called a little aneurysm. In recent months, in the first episode, it follows the reality star as she goes to the doctor for an MRI. Now, don't go away. We have more Texoma news when we get back with our Community Corner. We also have an interview with Oklahoma Human Services about their upcoming conference. Learn more about what's happening next door and across the Red River in just a minute. Don't exit out now. Welcome back to KXII 12 News Now. We're going to start with your Community Corner. Sherman and Denison residents are seeing relief at the pumps recently. AAA says current average gas prices are just below $2.50 per gallon for regular unleaded. That's down about 5 cents less from last week and 12 cents lower from what we were paying about a month ago. But AAA spokesperson Daniel Armbruster says that he is going to expect some fluctuation.
Those are pretty typical. You'll see prices drop, then they'll fluctuate a little bit, correct. nothing major or anything to be concerned about.
He expects the prices to go down again in the foreseeable future. Today, a drug take-back event in Ada will allow anyone to get rid of deadly or expired pills at the East Central University Brandon Witten Institute. The Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics began placing drug take-back boxes within law enforcement agency buildings and throughout counties since 2011, and has since collected 345,000 pounds of drugs. We spoke with OBN spokesman Mark Woodward, who says the initiative is a win-win from all sides.
We're getting drugs out of the house that could be potentially targeted by kids or relatives with an opioid addiction, and we're turning it into clean energy.
The medicine is incinerated in Tulsa using a steam and converted into clean energy. Today's take back at Ada ends at 2 p.m., but boxes are throughout all 77 Oklahoma counties year-round. The State Fair of Texas is over, and it's time to say so long to Big Tex, but don't forget about him just yet. When Tex is brought out of storage next year, you will have the chance to design the boots he'll be wearing. The Big Tex Boot Design Contest is now open. Previous designs include blue bonnets, the Alamo, and the Texas flag. You have until January 31st to submit your design. The 20th annual Choctaw Powwow and Heritage Festival will both happen next weekend. Both events highlight the Choctaw culture. The Heritage Festival features traditions like stickball and social dancing, and the powwow will have a variety of vendors along with flu shots provided by the Choctaw Community Health Nurses. There will be grand entries each night at 7.
If there's nothing else you get to do during powwow weekend, come out to these grand entries, because all of the dancers come together and it's a beautiful demonstration.
Both events are open to the public. You can find out more at KXII.com. Now, yesterday I had the opportunity to speak with Oklahoma Human Services about a big event that they have coming up, focusing on supporting caregivers in Texoma and Oklahoma. Here's our conversation about their 8th annual Caregivers Conference and the other services that they offer that you may not know about. Hello, Talina. Now, I'm so excited to learn more about this conference. Now, this is happening on November 6th, which is a Thursday, and the title is the Caregivers Conference. Now, from what I understand, the idea is to bring support and resources to caregivers and their communities. So, who are the caregivers that you're talking about?
Anybody of any age that is caring for someone. It could be a parent who's got a child with autism. It could be a sibling that is caring for their brother or sister that has a disability. It could be a adult child caring for their parents, but anybody that is giving care. It could be the neighbor that is caring for the neighbor. And we see that a lot these days because the community is coming together.
Absolutely. So now the topic of this with the theme Caregivers Compass, what do you hope to explore with that?
Yeah, we're hoping to equip caregivers with the tools, the knowledge, and the resources they need. We're offering several ways to attend this year, and one of those ways would be at the site in Ardmore. And those resources are applicable to those caregivers that are living in that area.
That is so wonderful. I'm very passionate about helping to support caregivers. My grandfather, who actually just recently passed away, he was my grandmother's caregiver for 10 plus years. And I know it's really hard on them because they can be so isolated. So I think it's just such a wonderful thing that you guys are really going to where they need you to be able to really meet them and give them those resources. So when it comes to caregivers kind of themselves, what do you say to people who think that someone who needs a caregiver should just be put in a nursing home?
Our goal in all our programs here at Oklahoma Human Services is to help people age in place, in places where they want to age, and supporting that. We have several options and programs within the Oklahoma Human Services that support that. And you know, we are coming into an era where our seniors are going to significantly outnumber the children under the age of 18 for the first time, our seniors 65 and over, by the year 2034. And so we've got our Aging Our Way program, who is stepping ahead of that and looking for alternatives to support caregivers or those that are wanting to age in place. We've got some Advantage waiver programs that will support helping someone remain in their home longer. And then another program I really like to share with our caregivers is our CD Pass program, where a caregiver can actually be paid to care for their loved one in home, as long as they meet certain requirements. But it is an opportunity for them to continue to not have to pay that high cost of institutionalization within our long-term care facilities, but support their loved ones in their home and still maintain a life themselves as a caregiver. It's important that they're caring for themselves so they can continue to care longer. And that is really what our coalition, OK Cares, and this conference is about, is how do we give those wraparound supports to our caregivers so they can continue to care, which is an advantage for the entire state. It reduces the cost of nursing home placement, which can affect all taxpayers.
So this is the 8th annual event of the Caregivers Conference. Now, how did this project get started?
So this project started with a group of entities within Oklahoma that said, hey, we've got caregivers that are not being heard. And they formed a coalition. And from the coalition, they said, we need a place where they can have this community and find the resources that will support them. And the conference started with one conference in Oklahoma City, and I want to say that first conference we had less than 100 people that were in attendance. This year we are in 6 locations in person, and we have 10 watch parties, and we're also available online. And we've had over 1,350 registrants for this conference in the state of Oklahoma, and we've also had 10 states that are going to be in attendance as well.
That is absolutely amazing. So tell us a little bit about Oklahoma Human Services and how come you guys have ended up helping with this and putting on this conference in the first place.
So Oklahoma Human Services has always been a supporter of caregivers. And when we talk about parents that are raising children, or in our aging services, talking about the children raising or taking care of their parents, there's a caregiver at every step of life. We're all going to be caregivers at one point, or we're going to need a caregiver. And so that is the cornerstone.
Now, Oklahoma Human Services was one of only 8 states to receive a national grant, which is part of a national 4-year initiative, which is hoping to amplify the power of family caregivers' voices. So tell us a little bit about this grant and what it is allowing you guys to do for the community.
Oklahoma is recognized as a leader in the caregiving field. We did apply for this grant, and our goal with this grant is to increase awareness and outreach, which by our numbers, you can tell we're being very successful with. But it's identifying who is really a caregiver. Because one thing that when we have conversations with people and they're like, oh, my husband has cancer, they just assume that this was part of their life plan and that they're not a caregiver. They married and they're going to care. And so really letting caregivers know that they are indeed a caregiver and giving them those supports, and they identify as a caregiver so they can reach out for those supports. There are so many things that we have to offer on okcares.org to support any caregiver at any stage of their life with any illness or disability they could be dealing with. And we navigated it successfully, and we did win that and several other grants as well.
That is fantastic. I think that helping people identify with their roles, like you said, is such an important step in helping them actually get help. I know that I've had a good friend who is very, disabled and so can't do everything. And her husband is there and obviously loves them so much and wants to help, but it's a big task. It's a big task to take care of yourself, let alone another person. So those resources, that's such an amazing thing. Now, for the event, for those who feel like they can't come because they are the caregiver and so they can't leave their person alone, what is a way that they can get assistance to come to the event and then just also in other ways?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. This is my favorite thing to talk about. So, with one of the grants that we receive, we were able to provide vouchers for caregivers to be able to hire a person of their choice to care for their loved one, so they can come to the conference. We have other programs that allow them to go get their hair done. If they're a grandparent raising a grandchild, then let's sign that kiddo up for Taekwondo and we'll support you in that so that you can sit on the sidelines and, I don't know, scroll Twitter, whatever, whatever makes you feel like you are getting respite. But when you sign up for the conference, it does ask you, would you like an education voucher to pay for care for your loved one? And if you select yes on that, one of our team members will reach out to you and walk you through that process.
That is amazing. I remember when my grandmother first started getting really ill, I would go up for the winter break for school so that my grandpa could just go play golf because he can't do that. You can't do that when you are the person. So what an amazing program. Well, before we wrap up here, how can people register? What are the details? How can people find the information so they can make it to this event?
Yeah. All of our information is on okcares.org, and on the front page, you'll see the conference registration. And specifically for Ardmore area, we're at the Hilton Garden Inn on November 6th. Doors open at 9 and programming begins at 10. We are also offering gas cards for the first 500 in-person attendees across the state of Oklahoma, plus a light breakfast and a lunch and several giveaways. Our keynote speaker is Dr. Barry Jacobs, and we'll be handing out several hundred of his books at the event as well. And so sign up and we'll see you on November 6th.
That is so wonderful. So as you're watching this right now, I've gone ahead and posted on my Facebook a link so that you can go register to the event. And this is just such an amazing opportunity. So I hope that everybody who feels that they could take use of these resources will really reach out for them. Well, thank you so much for coming on KXII 12 News Now. And I hope that you guys just have the best time with this event.
Thank you so much for having me, Robin.
Just to go over the details again, the 2025 Oklahoma Family Caregivers Conference will be on November 6th. Doors will open at 9 a.m. and programming will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's free admission. You just need to sign up on okcares.org. There, you can also apply for help in actually attending, like extra money for extra assistance with the one that you're caring for. Now, like I said previously, you can find the link on my Facebook, or again, just head over to www.okcares.org. Now, that is it for this KXII 12 News Now. Do not worry, we will be back again on Monday, same time, 12:30, same place, our KXII live stream and YouTube Live. Now, don't want to wait for more Channel 12? Well, head over to your TV and tune in to the 4, 5, 6, and 10. There's a lot more news in store for today, and we will not let you miss a beat. You can also follow us on our social media. We are KXII 12 News pretty much everywhere. So check out our Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, TikTok, and of course, YouTube. There you'll get constant updates, exclusive content, and you can see all of our previous work. Now, wanted more details from any of our stories today? Well, head over to KXII.com for all of our reporters' information in one spot. Now, my name is Robin Key. You can find me at my Facebook, robinkey.com, and thank you for joining me for your midday update. Have a nice weekend, Texoma.